Welcome to Morning Manna. This Morning Manna is for March the 9th, 2021, and the lesson is Christian Living, Avoiding Bitterness. And let me say that this is a very important lesson for anyone that is a Christian, because it is easy to allow bitterness to become a part of our life. Bitterness is an attitude characterized by deep loathing, hatred, and malice. Bitterness is caused when we fail to forgive the hurts and offenses of others. We can create bitterness in others by relating our personal injuries to others who care about us, but are uninvolved in those hurts. Ministers, by relating their own bad experiences, may cause their churches to become bitter. Let me say that again. Ministers, by relating their own bad experiences, may cause their churches to become bitter. That is something that no minister really would want to happen to their church, but still sharing those personal hurts can create serious problems in the members of that assembly. Parents can likewise cause bitterness in their children, and children in their parents. We must be very careful with our personal hurts and injuries, because bitterness is contagious and destructive. No person can be bitter and keep it entirely to themselves. Bitterness is the absence of forgiveness. Bitterness is a willful choice. As with anger, resentment, and brooding, bitterness involves the will. We choose to allow ourselves to become bitter. We know that it's a choice because Ephesians 4:31 says, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor, shouting, and evil speaking be put away from you, with all malice, with all ill will." God's word would not tell us to put these feelings away from us if we could not do so. We can choose to put bitterness away, or we can choose to be bitter, or we can choose not to be bitter. When we choose not to forgive the offenses or hurts of others, we are making a path for bitterness to enter into our lives. Even if those who have offended us have not asked for forgiveness, we must forgive. It is in our best interest to do so. A man once came to apologize to a pastor for leaving a church. When he met with the pastor, he asked for forgiveness for his actions. The pastor told the man that he had forgiven him several years ago when the incident occurred. The pastor's response confused the man, and the man said, "I never asked for forgiveness until now." The pastor replied that it was important for one that has suffered a personal hurt to forgive others, even when not asked to. Jesus forgave those who were crucifying him, though they never asked him to. Remember his words upon the cross? Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." They had not asked him for forgiveness, but he just forgave. Bitter people are implacable. When dealing with a bitter person, it is very hard to reason with them. Nothing we say may be able to convince them that they need to forgive. We cannot appease a bitter person. They are unreasonable. Many times their mind is set on holding a grudge. Anytime you hold someone hostage, you are a prisoner yourself. A bank robber cannot hold hostages in a bank without being held hostage himself. Only when we release them can we be free from the place where we are holding them. Bitterness does not abide alone. It spreads and defiles many. Hebrews 12 and 15. Below are some symptoms of bitterness. All of these may not apply to every situation. Number 1, the offended person may not be able to see their own offense to others in a given situation. Their reasoning may not be right or clear. Number 2, they may experience ill will or malice toward the offending party. Number 3, the offending person may want revenge. 4, irreverence. Bitter people may not respect the opinion or counsel of their leaders. What is the cure for bitterness? If you find yourself having feelings of bitterness, here is a prescription to rid yourself of this destructive behavior. 1, list your faults. Write down what you did to cause the problem. It's sometimes easy to avoid that you did anything or said anything, but we need to take a look at ourselves and say, did I bring some of this hurt around? Number 2, take your paper, go to prayer, and ask forgiveness. This will adjust your perspective. Number 3, list the offenses. Write down what was done against you. Number 4, take the list to prayer and forgive the offenses. An act of the will. You must make yourself forgive. Number 5, ask the person to forgive you for holding feelings of bitterness against them. If necessary, apologize and dispose of the matter. Your hurts are to help you become a better person. God can use them to help you minister to others in this area of your injury. Our will needs to be in the driver's seat of our lives, our intellect and co-pilot, and our emotions in the back seat. We cannot allow our emotions to control our lives. I want to say that again. We cannot allow our emotions to control our lives. When we do what is right, our emotions will come around. We cannot and will not live for God if we are being driven by our emotions. Things to remember about bitterness. A, keep short accounts. Again, some things are much better forgotten. B, bitterness is a killer. You must remind yourself of that. It destroys. It can destroy yourself and other people as well. C, above all, we must be saved. We must not allow bitterness or anything else to stand in the way of our salvation. And we must realize that this is a serious problem that we have and that we have to get over it. D, everyone will have their chance to become bitter in life. Jesus told us to love our enemies. Evidently, we may have some. Offenses come, but we must not allow them to destroy us. E, those who make it to heaven are those that have learned to recover and to heal from the hurts and continue on. F, hardships come our way to make us better and not bitter. Few questions. What is bitterness? And how does a person become bitter? Bitterness is a lack of forgiveness. A lack of forgiveness will bring bitterness. It is taking up an offense that has happened in your life, and perhaps you love someone and you feel like that your love has been injured in some way, but you cannot allow it to destroy you. How can we choose to put bitterness away? Make it a decision of your will. Decide, I will put bitterness away. Can we forgive someone before they ask us to? I say absolutely. Jesus did. We can pray for that person. We can pray for God's forgiveness and blessing upon them. You can remind yourself that they are your brother or sister in the Lord, and you don't want to see them destroyed or injured, especially anything you might do or say. Explain, we cannot and will not live for God if we are driven by our emotions. We must decide, I have emotions that can control me, but I'm here to serve Jesus Christ and to serve his kingdom. And I cannot allow emotions to drive my actions in life. I pray this has been a help to you. Some things we learn, we must decide, I'm going to hold that for the future. Maybe I don't need it right now, but someday I may need it desperately. I pray that you may learn and grow just like all of us have to do. May the Lord bless you.